Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're back again with another edition of Felons Talk. And today, my guest is a guy named Martin McNally. I never called him Martin. I've always called him Pirate. I've never called you Martin ever since I've known you, and I've known you like since 1979 when we were in the control unit in Marion together. And in those days, we both had very long sentences, and we were facing more prison charges. I was facing a murder case, and Martin was facing another air piracy case that happened while he was in Marion. And we're going to discuss all that and how he got to Marion in the first place. Martin Pirate, I'm going to call him Pirate because that's what I always called him. He hijacked. What kind of plane was it, Martin?
American Airlines 727. A 727 American Airlines. That was in 1972.
Okay. Listen, bro, just give me a little background about yourself, like where you grew up and everything, and then we'll get into that.
Okay, we can do that. I grew up in Wyandotte, Michigan. I had seven brothers and sisters. I have 5 sisters and 2 brothers. I went to Catholic school in Wyandotte, Michigan. In the 11th grade, the Catholic nun said I failed the 10th grade religion course. So she said I said it was a one-page final exam, sister. You aren't suggesting here that I retake that entire course, are you? And she said, yes. So that was it for me. I left school. I walked out of school and joined the Navy and did 3 years in the Navy. And I got out in December of 1964 and went to work 6 months later, I think, with Great Lakes Steel. I was a lab analyst. Okay, where are we going?
So anyway, so you went to, I'm going to get to the part where like you worked and stuff. How did you end up hijacking a plane? What led up to that, and why did you do it? And then tell us how it happened, because that's probably the most interesting story I've ever heard of a plane hijacking in my life.
Okay. In 1971, I opened up a shell station in Redford, Michigan, with a friend of mine. He was a dealer. He got the franchise. He had a 1-year contract for that shell station, and every year that would be renewed. In December of 1971, I left the business, and in January of 1972, I was listening to a disc jockey in Detroit. They were talking about all the hijackings that were going down in the country. And he said the way to stop these hijackings is to give everybody that buys a ticket $500,000. So when he said that, I laughed like hell. And I was in a Cadillac in Detroit, and I laughed like hell. And I said that would be a hell of a way to make a score, to do a score. Just take a gun, take a note, and go on the plane and order your stuff, $500,000, parachutes, and all this other stuff. So that was mid-January of 1972. And that's where it began. But let me tell you, I was dead before I started, because I wasn't criminally sophisticated, and I didn't know that you tell these people, and when there's a reward or stuff like that, people rat. And as it happened, in within 2 weeks, my business partner, uh, he told me he had a conversation with a mutual friend of ours, and I blew up on him. I said, "You motherfucker! That dude there has the biggest mouth in Detroit. I can't do this fucking score now. You blew a $500,000 score." He said, "Listen, he won't say anything. He won't say anything." I should have stopped it right there, but I didn't. For 3 weeks, I took it off the burner, but then I put it back on, and I says, "I got to go for it. I got to go for it." So I went for it, and it took. I won't go into all the details. Is from January until June when I pulled this thing, but it took 5 months traveling all over the fucking. I went all over looking for an airplane. I mean, an airport. I went to Detroit Metro. I went to O'Hara in Chicago. I went to Indianapolis Airport there. I went to St. Louis Airport. When I walked into the St. Louis Lambert Field, I think that was in March. I believe that was March. I walked in there, and within 10 minutes, I came out, and I was standing on the sidewalk there, and I lit up a cigar, smoked a cigar, lit up a cigar, and I said, "This is it. This is it." So that was it. It was St. Louis, and I had to make several trips to St. Louis. I think in April, in May, April and May, I went down there. In April, I was before the TWA boarding station there, and it was about 5 o'clock p.m. on a Friday, and there was too much security on that. All right, so I was down there with my partner, my accomplice. Accomplice was Walter Pelikowski. He's from Ecorse. I think he's still alive. He's 3 years older than me, and he's got Alzheimer's and dementia and everything else. But I called him up. He drove me down there. He's my chauffeur, and he drove me down to St. Louis. And I called him up. I says, "Come on back to the airport. It's not going to go today." That was in, I believe, March. Maybe, no, that was in April. That was in April. In May, the following month, I went to St. Louis with my accomplice, and I was standing in the line to board the plane, and there were about 5 or 6 people in front of me who were getting their tickets checked, and I was going to take that plane right from the ticket counter, but that didn't go either. And I'm glad that I fucking turned around, because that would have been a disaster, I'm sure. So I called my accomplice again. He came and got me again. We went back to Detroit. And in June of 1972, I went back to St. Louis, and that's when I took the plane at about 2:30. It was a 727 jetliner. Got on the plane, and we were up in the air, and off we went, and it was a hell of a day. It was a hell of a day.
Tell us blow by blow, because this is one of the most interesting stories I've ever heard, man.
Okay, so I get on the plane, and we're heading to we're going from St. Louis to Tulsa, and then the plane goes to Los Angeles. But I got my ticket to Tulsa 3 days, 3 or 4 days before this hijacking. I was in St. Louis at buying my ticket, and as I was coming out, getting ready, going down the stairs in the airport, somebody called my name, McNally, McNally. They were behind me. I was fucked up. I said, "Oh shit, I'm being fucking busted." I turned around and I see this guy that I recognize from the Navy 7 or 8 years before this. I said, Floyd Palmer, how you doing, dude? He said, "You remember me?" I said, "Yeah, I remember you. How could I forget you?" So I got my ticket. I went to 3 days later. It was a Friday. I got on that plane. Now we're heading for Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I'm on there with my attaché case, my sawed-off rifle. It looks like a grease gun, a machine gun. And the pilot says, "We'll be landing in Tulsa in about 15 minutes."
Hold on
So
just a
right
second.
there.
You mean to tell me they didn't shake you guys down going on the plane in them days?
No, they didn't do any. They had metal detectors, but not very many metal detectors. American Airlines didn't have any metal detectors in the country back in June of '72. I mean, it
Okay.
was you just walk into the airport and board the fucking plane with your guns and everything else, bombs and guns. That's why there were so many. That's why there were so many hijackings in 1971 and 1972. I'm telling you, they were happening every fucking week. I mean, they were going to Cuba.
Yeah,
They were going to.
I remember. Was this before or after DB Cooper?
This was 6 months after DB Cooper.
Okay.
It was his. It was his. It was his score that gave me the idea. I mean, he did it in November of '71, and then in January, when he did the score, it didn't register a blip on me. I mean, I didn't even think about doing such a fucking stupid crime.
Right.
But in January, the second week of January, yeah, I wasn't doing anything. I was unemployed at the time, and I said, "Hey, that's the way to make a score." So that was DB Cooper. Now we're going back to the plane.
Go ahead.
The pilot says we're landing in 15 minutes. I'm sitting there in my seat. My attaché case is on the floor, and I'm thinking, God damn it! If I don't do this now, and I land, I'm gonna be in a world of trouble because I'm gonna have this fucking attaché case full of weapons. I'll have to get a fucking hotel room and somehow figure out how I'm gonna get back to Michigan, which would have been about close to 1,000 miles by then. So I says, it's either do it now or forget about this forever. Pump up your nuts and get this done. So I pumped up my nuts. I didn't know where the John was in the plane, so I asked this guy, "Where's the men's room?" So he said it's in the back over there. Boop. So I grabbed my attaché case. Went back in the men's room. I opened up my attaché case, pulled out my gloves, plastic gloves. Pulled out my wig. I had a wig, and pulled out the gun that I had, and I very, very cautiously engaged it and made sure that it didn't fire off a goddamn 45 caliber slug through the fuselage. So I got that all on and had my sunglasses on, of course. And I opened the door and closed the door, and I'm trying to get the attention of the stewardesses. For 3 minutes, I'm in the back of the plane, crouched down in the position with this gun, and I'm going like this, trying to get the attention of the stewardess. Finally, a stewardess notices me and comes back, and she says, "Don't hurt anybody." I said, "Young lady, I'm not here to hurt anybody. I'm here to get some money and bail out of this plane. Give this note to the pilot." Boom. So she ran up there, gave it to the pilot, and came back and said, "What next?" "I need a place to sit down. So clear out these three the aisles here. Get these people, give them an upgrade to first class, and don't charge them. Don't get them up there to first class." So there was a dude there with his wife, 2 kids. One was a young daughter, and one was a young son. The wife got up first, and she went up to first class. Then the daughter went up to first class. The son, he was about 10 or 11, 12 years old. He walked about 10 feet, stopped, turned around, looked at me for about 10 seconds, shook his head like this, what the fuck? And then the father, he stands up, he looks about 6'6", looks like a fucking NFL fucking football player. He's standing 5 feet in front of me, and he turns around and looks at me, and I'm looking at him. He doesn't blink. He looks at me. I know it's on his mind.
Yeah.
He wants to disarm me. He wants to fucking kick me, rush me, or whatever. But I took that fucking gun. It looks like a grease gun. I took that gun and I pulled it over, and I pointed it directly at him. And I gave him a growl like that.
You mean mugged him.
mean motherfucker. I'm ready to fucking blow him away.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't blink. I didn't blink at all, and he didn't blink. If he didn't move, I wasn't gonna blink. I would have fucking blown away, and that would have been disastrous because in Missouri they had the death penalty. So as this thing goes on, we get everything going, and the pilot wants to know what next and everything. I said, well, I need $500,000. I need a bunch of parachutes, and just follow the instructions on the extortion note that I gave you. So they were doing that thing, and we landed. We turned around from Tulsa, came back to St. Louis, landed, and I said, yeah, let's let some of these people off the plane. Reload, top off the fuel, the tanks, and reload and get up in the air. So I told the stewardess, I said, we need to get some people off this plane. Tell the pilot to announce that all the women and children are going off this plane. So they did that. And there was one couple there. She would not leave her husband. There was one young woman in there. She was hanging on to him like, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. Yeah, she fucked up. So we still had about 40 men on that plane. And I told the stewardesses, I said, we need to get these men off of here. I want 15 of them held. So they got, I said, anybody, tell the pilot to announce that anybody who has heart problems, taking medication, any health problems, they can get up and leave the plane. So what did the pilot do? He announced that anybody with heart problems or taking medication can leave the plane. And what happens? Every man in that plane jumped up and they're ready to go. Get the fuck off of that plane. I mean, everyone. I jumped out of the fucking seat and I screamed, sit down. Sit fucking down now. Okay? So everybody sat down. I told the stewardess, you tell that pilot, if he pulls another stunt like that, I'm going to come up there and throttle his ass. Telling him, oh, any fuck. So they got rid of the men and they kept 15 hostages, filled up the tanks, and we were back in the air. Now that's about 5 o'clock, I think, 4 or 5 p.m. So we went back up in the air, and the pilot asked me, can I fly out of the St. Louis area, airplane area? I said, yeah, you can go wherever you want. Wherever you want. So he's flying around, and they come and tell me that they don't have the $500,000 in St. Louis. I says, well, go anywhere in the world. We're gonna have $500,000, but yeah, get the money anywhere. So the steward comes back and she says they got the money in Dallas, Dallas Fort Worth, American Airlines main office down there. So I said, okay, let's go down to Texas and get it. We'll go down there and get it and come back to St. Louis and so forth and so on. So we're on our way to Texas. We're going at full power on the throttles. I mean, we're going, we're moving. I mean, we're really moving. After about 10 minutes, the stewardess comes back and says, they got $100,000 in St. Louis right now. Would that be enough? And I said, young lady, if all I thought I was going to get is $100,000 today, I wouldn't have rolled out of bed. We're going to get that $500,000. We're going to get that $500,000. So about 5 minutes later, now we're still going toward Texas. 5 minutes later, they come to me and they say, they got the money in St. Louis. So we're going to turn around and go back to St. Louis. I said, okay, kick some ass and get this done. So we got back to St. Louis and we landed. Now this was about, I think about 9:30. So this was about 9:30. We land, and they start bringing in this stuff that I ordered. They got parachutes, they got parachute harnesses, and the money's coming up board and everything. But when they bring those parachutes on, I said, where are the backpacks? Now you got main chutes and reserve chutes. All they gave me was reserve chutes, a small reserve front pack. And the guy said, you didn't order them. You didn't order the backpacks. I looked at my watch. I said, you monkey motherfuckers, you're fucking trying to kill me. Get the fuck off this plane. Fucking God damn it. So he got off the plane. I knew they were trying to kill me. All I have is a fucking reserve chute. I don't have the time to tell them I gotta have a reserve chute. I mean, I plan to be out of there about on the ground at about 1 o'clock in the morning. So they bring the money aboard. I checked the money. I checked the bag, $500,000, and I said, "Okay, we're ready to go." Oh God, I smoked too much. So it's about midnight, and we're getting ready to take off. And as we're rolling down the runway, we're getting ready to roll down the runway. Now we aren't rolling much, but oh yeah, he's ready to go. We're talking. He's going to full power, going to release the brakes, going to take off, and then he says, "There's a vehicle on the runway. There's a vehicle on the runway. We're going to have to delay the takeoff. Oh my God, it's going to hit us! Ah!" A vehicle hit the plane.
Really?
I mean, yeah, it was there were two bumps. I'm in the seat and I moved forward twice. What happened is this Cadillac, brand spanking new Cadillac, this fucking dude ran it into the nose wheel of the plane at 90 miles an hour. 90 miles an hour. And it hit the nose wheel and then it veered over and hit the main wheel and stopped. I mean, hey, this is about $1 million worth of damage to this plane. But forget that. If there had been a leak, a fire, this plane was fully loaded.
Yeah.
Tanks were topped. We got 10,000 gallons of aviation fuel on this fucking plane. There would have been an explosion. I mean, forget about it. I wouldn't be here talking about it.
Was he trying to was he just trying to be a hero or something?
He was hero. David Hanley, I think David Hanley was his name. And he was about 32 or 33 years old. He had a new fucking Cadillac. And it wasn't fucking paid for. But he was going to stop this. He was going to stop this ice. He was in the Marriott Inn bar across from the airport. And he's from St. Louis. And he was in there for about, 5 or 6, 7 hours, drinking, drinking, watching this stuff on television.
Yeah.
I mean, they took everything off the air in St. Louis, everything. And all they were doing was covering this thing at the airport minute by minute, telling the people in St. Louis what's happening. So at approximately midnight, he told everybody in the bar, "You keep watching now. You're going to see something that's going to shake the world." He got in his Cadillac, drove to the airport. There was a chain link fence. He had to back it up and a couple of times before he could break through that chain link fence. But once he got through it, he's barreling down that runway at about 90 miles an hour. Hey, think about it. If our plane had been rolling at that he was ready to go, we'd have been going 70 or 80 miles an hour, and our nose wheel would have hit that fucking plane. Yeah, our nose wheel would have hit that Cadillac, and there would have been a hell of a fucking explosion. and I wouldn't be here in a fucking day. You got 10,000 gallons of fucking gas blowing up, sparks going everywhere. It would have been all over. Well, what we had to do was order another plane.
Another plane.
Yeah, I told the pilot, I told the stewardesses, I think this is an FBI trick. And the stewardess says, we've been hit by a vehicle. And when I realized that it wasn't an FBI trick, I said, okay, all right, we got to order another plane. What we're going to do is we're going to take a 727 on this tarmac here. Who I don't give a fuck who owns the plane. We're going to top off those tanks 100%, and we're going to take that plane. And we need to do it quick because I could start getting tired, and that won't end well at all. So that took 90 minutes. We got that other plane ready to go. And the pilot said, where do you want to put it? I said, well, put it 100 feet, 150 feet in front of our plane. And have the wheels down, have the wheels locked, and the engine's idling at 10%. And we're going to board that plane and we're going to take it. So they had 5 snipers, 5 of them. I didn't know they had that many snipers. I mean, they had them. And I had to take the crew from our plane, our disabled plane, and move it over the new plane. That was precarious because I know they want to fucking kill me. One shot to my fucking head, and I'm fucking history. Right. So I'm taking a stewardess with me as we're coming down the stairs, and we get between those 2 planes, and I got this attaché case up shadowing my fucking face, so they can't get a good beat on me for a shot. So I turn around, and it looks like there's a dude in a truck under the plane. He's the guy that had the stairs. He was bringing me up the stairs. And I looked at him. It looked like he had a fucking gun pointed at me. And so I pointed my gun, and that was a hairy thing there because I was ready to fucking fire my gun. And then he picked up his hand, threw his hands up. And when I saw him throw his hands up, I knew he didn't have a gun in his aimed at me. So I turned around, told the stewardesses, let's get on the board. And I told him before, when I enter that plane, I'm going to check it. I'm going to check it, search it quick. And if I see anybody on that plane that shouldn't be there, I'm blowing them away. No questions, just I'm firing on them. So I did that. I checked the plane, went through it. It was okay. I told the pilot, okay, let's get in the air. So they raised the rear stairs. And within 2 minutes, we're in the fucking air. We're going to Toronto. That's where I told them. We're going to Toronto. We're gonna do a low pass over the Toronto airport so that I can make sure that it's the Toronto airport. All that was bullshit. So we get in the air, we go up to 10,000 feet, and I tell the co-pilot. The co-pilot comes back to the where I was at, and I told him, I said, I want to be going at 500 miles an hour. You can lower the steps now, and I want the plane to go at 500 miles an hour. He said, you can't get out of that. You can't get out those stairs at 500 miles an hour. It's not going to happen. I said, okay, what we're going to have to do is speed it up, slow it down, speed it up until we get that hole where it's enough for me to get out of there. So that's what we do. And finally, we get the stairs okay. And as it turned out, we were moving at 330 miles an hour. So I told the co-pilot, I said, okay, go up to the cockpit and don't come back here again. I got ready to go. I got the parachute on, the harness on, the money. I wanted to tie that thing securely to my body, but the time constraints were such that I had to get out of that plane. Like we're talking about 2:30 a.m. At about 3 o'clock, it starts getting light in June. And if I'm coming out of that plane and it's fucking dawn, these farmers are going to be able to see me. So what happened is that I tied the fucking money up. It was terrible. It wasn't good enough. I bailed out. 10,000 feet up in the air. I'm coming out at 330 miles an hour. That was my first jump, by the way. I had no parachute experience.
Let me stop right there, brother, because this is the craziest part of it all. You've never jumped out of an airplane before, ever. You're gonna jump out of a plane with $500,000. You've never parachuted out of a plane in your life, and you're gonna try it right now with $500,000. That's the craziest.
Yeah.
That's the greatest fucking thing I ever heard, man.
I think I was insane. I think I was insane. As I think about this, yeah. What the fuck? As I reflect on this now, what the fuck was I doing? I mean, that was fucking insane. What? Hey, I can't believe it. I can't believe I fucking pulled it. But yeah, so here I am coming.
You went out the plane, man. Explain what you were up against when you actually had to make that first fuck. When you had to go out that fucking door, man. Explain that, because I've heard.
Yeah. Well, just minutes before that, I was in the aisle of the fuselage, and I'm walking back and forth, and I had I had three options, and one option was I can take my gun up to the cockpit and tell them, hey, it's really a joke. I wasn't planning to do anything like this, and give them the gun and just go on into prison. The second option is that I can kill myself and end this fucking bullshit. It's over. I mean, fuck this. The third option is I can fucking bail out and take my chances on surviving this fucking shit. Because at this point, it's fucking hairy. I mean, what the fuck? I gotta fucking bail out of this motherfucker at 300 miles an hour. Hey, okay. I considered those three options, and I said, "Fuck it, I'm going for it. I'm going for it." So the stairs were down, and I thought that the air was being pulled out of the plane. Now I had that extortion note, and I tore it up. There were 2 pages of extortion note. And I tore it up, and I threw it out the stairs like this.
So they let the airplane stairs down in the middle of the So they had to put the stairs down so you could get out of the plane.
Yeah, the stairs are down at this time, and I that's where I'm going out. I'm not going out the side of the plane. So So I got this extortion note, 2 pages, ripped up, tore up. Now I'm going to throw it out of the fucking plane. So I do. I throw it down the stairs. What happens? The motherfucker, every piece blows back up into the fucking plane.
Wow.
Back up into the fucking plane. It's going all over the fucking chairs
Right.
and everything. And I'm running around the plane trying to catch these pieces because they got my fingerprints all over them.
Yeah, right.
And so I grabbed a lot of the fucking pieces and put them in my pocket. And then what I did was I very slowly sat on my ass and shimmied down the fucking stairs, one step at a time. This is scary. Okay,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
this is fucking scary. So I get to the bottom of the stairs and I look out and I can see lights on the ground, and there's sparks. In other words, they're not close together, and it's certainly not a city. So I know at this point that it's a farming area. I have no
Right.
idea what state. I have no idea what state it's in, but and I'm looking at this and trying to figure out how I'm going to get out of this fucking plane and everything. And as we go along, I look out, and then it's white. It's white, and I think at that time that's water. I think that I went from seeing the ground to not seeing the ground to seeing a whiteness, and I didn't register it as a clouds. So I very cautiously eased myself up with my legs, my body, and everything, and I'm hanging on with my 2 hands to the bottom step of the plane. That's all I'm hanging on to the plane. And I'm facing down, and I looked up, and I'm thinking that if the people in the cockpit knew that I was here, oh, they would blow me away, because I figured that they already had a FBI agent aboard the plane. By the way, we had to change crew. I changed crew and got different pilots, different co-pilot, flight engineer. I got rid of the first crew because I told them I want a fresh crew. I don't want any mistakes on this fucking operation. So what happened is that I released, and I'm flying down, feet first, leg first, and I'm going fast, and I lose my goggles, and I leveled off, and I leveled off, and I'm coming down smooth. I got down in about 15 or 20 seconds, and I'm figuring I got a mile. Now I'm up 2 miles, so I got down to about 1 mile, and this is the time to pull the ripcord. So I'm there like this.
You're already in. You let go. You let go of the plane. You were flying.
Yeah, I'm flying down. Yeah, I'm flying. I'm flying down.
Oh, you're in the air now.
I'm in the air, coming down.
Okay.
I'm coming down,
Right.
and I'm coming down. I'm flying down, and I figure I got about 1 mile, 1 mile in about 20 seconds. It's time to pull the ripcord. So what I do is I pull in my right hand slowly. I pull in my right hand. And because I left my left hand out, I was destabilized, and I spun. That was a panic spin. Now, I don't remember pulling that ripcord, but I did. Boom. When I spun, and the front pack parachute popped out, and it popped out about 1.5 feet. And then it came back up in my face. Poof! Hit me in my fucking face. It blackened my fucking eyes just about. Tore a piece of skin off my chin. I was fucked up. So I took my hands and grabbed the shroud lines. I knew if I didn't have resistance, I was dead because the panels would have been blown out, and I'm coming down probably terminal velocity. So I had resistance, and then with my left hand, I slapped my side to check the money bag. Fucking no money bag. I'm looking, and I'm looking down. I see this fucking leather money bag tumbling slowly in slow motion, like it's going like this. I said, "Oh fuck! Oh fuck! Unfucking believable." So I look around, and I'm trying to get 3 points on the ground, vector points. So if I can get 3 points on the ground, I may be able to put that bag into a pie on the ground and locate it. But if I can't do that, there's no way in hell I'm gonna find that. I'm gonna find that bag in a full pie area.
Right.
Okay, that's what happened. So I couldn't get any points on the ground, and then I see this fucking thing. Then I recognize it's clouds. It's not water, it's clouds.
Right.
And I went off. I said, I started screaming and hollering, and my feet were going every which way. My arms were going like this. And I said, what the fuck? What the fuck? God, I can't believe this shit. I can't believe this shit. So I calmed down and I says, well, wait a minute here. Before I did that, I said, fuck it, it's over. So I was going to follow the money down. I disconnected one leg strap. I disconnected the next leg strap. I opened up the chest strap and pulled it about 2 inches. It was open. And I said, well, wait a minute here. Because I was ready to just drop myself down suicide. I said, wait a minute here. I connected the chest strap up. I said, the money's gone, but the money can be replaced. I can't. And right. I'm still here. And I'm one in 5. So there's 1 in 50 million people have done this fucking score. I can do it again. So within 2 weeks, I'll be back up in the air again. I'll be back up in the air again within 2 weeks. I'll get $1 million next time, and I'll have the plane fly over St. Louis and unban the money, the $500 million, and throw it out the fucking back of the plane and let people know, hey, I'm back. I won't lose the money this time. Right. Yeah, that's what I had planned. I never got the chance because I got fucking fingered less than 6 hours after bailing out of that fucking plane. This guy back in Detroit, James Pelikowski, he called Robert Krischke, a Detroit deputy sheriff, and told him, hey, I know who pulled that score in St. Louis. That was Mark McNally. Yeah, he did it. Boom. Krischke called the FBI in Detroit and said, yeah, I know who did it. This is the guy. Well, the FBI didn't act on it. They would have made a fucking couple of phone calls and found out that I'm from an upstanding family, in a nice town and everything. I'm not a fucking bum. But yeah, they finally did act on it. When Kretschke called him back, he called that in on Saturday, 6 hours after I bailed out of the plane. They didn't act on it to arrest me, and he called him back on Monday. Says, why didn't you arrest that McNally guy? He's getting ready to. He's getting ready.
Was he your? Wait a minute. Was he the guy that was? Was he your chauffeur? Was he the guy that was driving you all around and helping you get everything together?
No, he didn't turn me in. It was James Paulzak, was a mutual friend of my business partner, and they had that conversation in January of 1972, which caused me to forget about this thing for 3 weeks. Then I says, I got to take a chance. I took a chance, and I got burnt bad. And it cost me decades in fucking prison. Pelikowski got $10,000 reward for turning me in. My actual business partner got immunity and wasn't charged. And after this thing happened, they disclosed everything. And when I got busted, the FBI, of course, they want to know their fucking shit, what's happening, and who helped me and everything. I said, nobody helped me for anything. I don't know what you're talking about. Right. And as it was, Pelikowski ratted, Jim Petty ratted, my chauffeur, the accomplice, he fucking ratted. He got 10 years, and I got 2 life sentences on this fucking thing. They offered me a deal. Plead guilty and we'll give you 28 years. I said, fuck that. You had an illegal search in this case. I'm not pleading anything. You got fruit of the poisonous tree. It requires the dismissal of all the fucking charges. And I'll tell you, while the case was going and everything, that judge, he told my defense attorney, if this case wasn't so big, I would dismiss the charges based on that illegal search that he heard about during a 1-week suppression hearing. 1 week. He said, but this case is too fucking big. If any relief comes on this case, it'll have to come from a higher court. Well, I'll tell you. Now we're getting off into what?
Let me stop you here for a second. Did anybody ever find the money?
Yeah. An old man. He was about 60 years old. He found the money. He found the money in his bean farm. Now he's got a 20-acre. He's got a 20-acre bean farm. He makes about $6,000 net every year from growing these fucking beans. He came out into his farm and he saw this something in the farm, this money bag. He knew what it was, but he didn't touch it. What he did was he called his son-in-law or something, 19-year-old dude, okay, related to him. The old man, 60 years old, and the youngster's 19, I think. He was working in the railroad. So he calls his son, whatever, and he says, I need you to come to the farm right now. So the youngster says, I'm on my lunch break and I'll come there as soon as I can. Be about 30 minutes. So the youngster comes to the farm and the old man takes him up to the farm and says, look at that. The youngster looks at that and he opens it up. He says, oh, Pops, you know what this is? This is the money they gave that skyjacker. The youngster says, this is the money they gave that skyjacker. So the old man says, what do you think we should do with it? The youngster says, we need to call the sheriff. So the old man says, okay, hey, if the youngster, the fucking idiot, had said, let's put this in the fucking closet and see where it goes, the old man would have said, yeah, that's a good idea. But as it was, yeah, the old man had larceny in his heart. But as it was, they called the sheriff. Within 15 minutes, they were there at the farm. And oh man, they were all over this shit.
People that are fucking honest, bro. It's poor but honest.
Yeah, they were all over this shit. And it was all over the fucking news. All over. All these people in Michigan who knew what I was doing, they were friggin' I must be dead. And my accomplice, Walt Pedlikowski, he's sitting at home watching this shit. Yeah. He said Marty's dead. So
basically, bro, your accomplice told a bunch of motherfuckers. You didn't tell nobody, right?
no, I didn't tell anybody at all. That was a dead issue.
You told other people, and them other people told.
Yeah, you gotta know these things before you do anything. For anybody to do anything at all, you can't tell anybody. If two people know something's going down, and the shit gets thick, one of those fucking persons is 99% of the time he's gonna fucking go for a fucking deal.
Yeah, yeah.
I was facing a death penalty. I was. Yeah, and I said, yeah, so fucking what? Bring it.
There was death penalty for air piracy at that time?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, when I did this thing, that was death penalty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, yours and DB Cooper's were the two most famous ones that I can remember in them days. I know there was a lot of people that hijacked planes and went to Cuba and all that dumb shit. I don't know what the fuck they did when they got down there. But, you know, it's not like a fucking paradise or anything, but I don't have a clue what the fuck they wanted to go down there for. But yours
for the cigars. Go to Cuba for those Cuban cigars. Yeah.
But you and DB were the two of the fucking most famous ones. And I don't think they ever caught him, did they?
No, they never caught him. I'm a member of the DB Cooper mystery group. There's 5,000 members on that fucking group. We're all searching for who DB Cooper was, and every year they have a meeting somewhere in the country. Yeah, they want me to go this November to Seattle. I don't think I'm gonna go because I'm fucking 80 years old now.
Yeah, you're
I'm getting too fucking old.
Listen, I gotta ask you. Okay, so now we know what happened with the hijack and everything, and how you got arrested and how you got your time.
Yeah.
Now you're in the penitentiary, right? Now you're doing the time. I meet you in like 1979. Tell us about what happened in Marion and how you ended up getting another air piracy case in Marion.
Okay, all right. We'll skip me getting time and going into Leavenworth. We'll skip that time. We'll talk about that some other time.
All right, yeah.
I got to Leavenworth in 1973, but we'll skip that. We're going right on to fucking Mary. All right. I left Leavenworth in, I believe it was August or September of 1976, and got to Marion. I was put in the control unit, 8 shift, and I got out of the control unit. I believe that was about March. I was in the control unit about 8 months, and I got out of the control unit. I was put into C block, Marion C block, and I was working. I forget where I was working right away. Where I forget where I was working when I got. Oh, wait a minute, no. I got out of the control unit, went to C block, and went to the paint shop.